New videos every day.
Hi, my name's Dena, and we're getting into some stretching and flexibility work today. So the first thing we're going to work on is our shoulders and our chest. In a forward bending world, we're always constricting and restricting our chest, so it's really important to make sure that we're flexible and increase our mobility and strength. So I want you to take a ruler. Now that you've got your ruler, go ahead and take your left thumb and put it on the 1 inch mark. We're going to be using this ruler to test our flexibility as we progress throughout this video and as we continue to use it. So take your right arm up over your head and your left arm back behind you as high as you can get it. Take your right arm back and grasp with your thumb and let go of your left thumb and bring your right arm up. So go ahead and test your flexibility for today and subtract an inch to see where you are. So we're going to go ahead and stretch that left arm first. So place your left arm flat up against the wall and bend it at a 90-degree angle. What you want to do is with your left hip, rotate forward away from the wall. You can take a little mini step if that suits you and if you want to go a little bit further. So on our flexibility test, anything under 3 inches, super good. Anything 6 to 8 inches, that's fair. Anything over 8 inches, we can definitely work on this. As you continually use this video and increase your strength and flexibility, then you can test your progress. So take your right arm or your left arm and take it down against the wall. Stretch out a different part of your shoulder. Now go ahead and rotate at your hips, making sure that your glutes and everything are tight. So your glute, your core, and your legs, your base is strong. Don't forget to breathe. And then take your left arm up, straight arm, and then rotate out. You might not be able to get as far, but the important thing is that you're feeling it and not that you're straining yourself. So go ahead and roll your shoulder a little bit back and relax it, and we're gonna go ahead and work on the right hand. So you'll see me from behind on this one. So take your right arm at a 90-degree angle, flush against the wall with your elbow, and then rotate out with your right hip away from the wall. And you want your hips to be facing on the same plane as your chest. So don't do any of this. Make sure that your hips and your chest are all on the same plane. Don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to squeeze your glutes and squeeze your core. And now take your right palm and place it flat on the wall beneath you, and then rotate out. Really opening up that chest, keep those shoulders down. Should really increase your flexibility if you continue to do this 3 to 5 times a week. And if you feel it, then go ahead and like me and favorite me. And go ahead and take your right palm up, and then rotate your whole body, starting with your right hip away from the wall. Breathe into that stretch, inhaling through your nose and exhaling out through your nose as well. Okay, now shake it out and stretch forward a little bit, clasping your palms together, and take your palms, clasp them behind you, and stretch your palms up. Really opening up your chest. And relax. So for this next one, we're gonna stretch our calves. And the calf test, you wanna be up against the wall. I wanna be facing you, so I'm gonna do it against the block. And go ahead and take your little handy dandy ruler or your towel, and you can estimate, and take your right ball of your foot and reach it towards your knee. And you wanna measure how many inches this is away from the wall. Relax and repeat with the left side. So measure how many inches you are away from the wall, making sure you're sitting high on your sit bones and just reaching the ball of your foot towards your knee. So go ahead and get on up and we'll get into our stretch. So in our calf stretch, you're gonna need to stand 3 to 4 feet away from your wall. So face your wall and place your hands and go ahead, take your right foot back and your left foot into a lunge. You should feel this. If you don't feel it, go ahead and extend your right foot further out. If it's too intense, bring your right foot further in. So press against the wall and into your leg and breathe into it for about 15 to 30 seconds So you want to make sure that if you're doing this, this is a static stretch. Like I mentioned in my other video about stretching, you want to do static stretches after your workout. Go ahead, bring your left foot in and your right foot out, and bend your right knee. If you are doing this before your workout, or if you're just doing this cold, you want to make sure to warm up for 5 or 10 minutes with just a few jumping jacks or some cardio moves, like in some of my other cardio videos, just to make sure that you're warm and make your body more pliable. So go ahead, breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your nose, and deepen into that stretch. So bring your left foot forward once more and your right foot back. Bend your right knee slightly to stretch a different part of the calf muscle. This is your Achilles heel. This is a lot of times in runners or people that walk a lot will get the very bottom part of their calf a little sore. Bending your right knee into your stretch definitely helps that. Bring your left foot in and your right foot out, and then slightly bend that right knee or that left knee and lift your left heel off of the mat. So bend into these stretches for about 15 to 30 seconds. And they're great post-workout static stretches or pre-workout stretches with a little cardio warm-up. So now we're getting into our obliques. So I want you to take a pin and go ahead and back up against the wall with your shoulders and your butt against the wall. And take that pin, you reach your left arm up overhead against the wall and your right arm down your calf. Make a little pin mark on your leg, as far low as you can go, and bring it back up. Switch hands and take your right arm out, bring it all the way up overhead, and then make a pin mark on your leg. It doesn't have to be very big, and bring it back up. These are stretching out your obliques, and low oblique flexibility comes a lot with back flexibility. And check your little pin marks and see where they are in proportion to your knees. And then I'm going to show you some good stretches for that. So getting into our oblique stretches, crawl out on to your hands and knees a little bit further than tabletop position, and get up into your plank. Don't worry, we won't stay here very long. So take your right leg and bring it out in front and between your hands, making sure that your knee is at a 90-degree angle. Go ahead and drop your left leg and point your toes. Come on up, making sure that your hips are facing forward. And if there's any strain on your left knee, you can either fold the mat that you're on or take a little blanket or a little towel and place it underneath your knee. Taking your palms in front of you, take your left elbow and hook it in front of your right knee. You want to make sure to stretch up with your chest and gaze up into the ceiling. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, come onto your toe into a crescent, a runner's lunge, twist. Or if you're just working up into that, go ahead and drop your back knee. Making sure on your inhales to expand your chest and open, and on your exhales, twisting further. You should not feel any discomfort. And just do this for about 8 to 10 breaths. So inhale, coming back up into that runner's lunge. We're gonna switch sides. So, getting back into that plank position, take your left foot and bring it in between your hands. Drop that right knee and come on up, making sure that both of your hips are facing forward. Taking your palms in front of your chest, take your right elbow and hook it outside of your left knee. You want to use your elbow strength and your arm strength to push away from your knee and open up your chest. Check the description for your measurement progress and how many inches are what, and what's good, bare, and poor. So check the description. Make sure you breathe deeply into each of your poses. And relax and come on forward. So the next part we're going to stretch is our lower back. With driving and all the standing that we do, we have a lot of lower back problems. So get up on your sit bones, extend your legs out in front of you, and take your hands and walk them up your thighs and your calves and see how far you can get them. On an inhale, reach upward, and an exhale, bend forward and see how far you can get your hands. That's all lower back flexibility. So, depending on if you're fair, medium, or poor, or good, this is a good stretch to do for everyone. So, go ahead, get into that plank position and hike your hips up into the air into a downward dog. This is a common yoga pose. So your gaze is either at your belly or in between your feet. You want to make sure to press your chest into, kind of think like you're bringing your chest towards the top of your thighs. And you want to make sure your palms are flat and that your middle fingers are reaching towards the front of your room and that you're pressing into all 10 fingers. Taking your elbow and pressing your elbows, the inside of your elbows towards the front of the room. This is a really good stretch for your lower back. And bring it back down. And you want to repeat this stretch 2 to 3 times for about 8 to 10 breaths. So our next test is for hamstring flexibility. As desk jockeys in this world, we need to make sure that we stretch out our hamstrings. So go ahead and lay flat on your back and extend your right leg in the air 90 degrees. Now see if you can straighten your right knee without moving your thigh. We might be here, we might be here. That's totally okay. Just see if you can straighten your right knee. And then lower your leg all the way down to the ground and bring your left leg up and see if you can straighten your right knee without moving your thigh further than, you still want to maintain 90 degrees or see where you are. This is a test. So to increase your flexibility and to see how you did on your test, look at the description of the video. So sit up on your hip bones. So you want to kind of move your legs back so that you can get on the top of your sit bones on your butt. So like the same way that we did before, make sure that your back is flat and start hinging forward at your waist, just like Batman, and grab onto whatever you can. So your shins, if that's all you can touch, that's fine. And if you can reach your toes, that's cool. There's no contest for flexibility. Sorry, Batman, go work on flexibility. So you want to grab wherever you can. Breathe, inhale through your nose, extend up, and then exhale and fold. And wherever you are is fine. Just make sure to keep breathing in through your nose, exhaling through your nose. Each time you inhale, think of lengthening. And then each time you exhale, think of folding forward. Reaching the crown of your foot, the crown of your head towards your feet. So you don't want to think about bringing your chest down to your legs. You want to think about lengthening your crown of your head towards your big toes. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, release. Now you want to do this exercise anywhere from 2 to 5 times every other day. So this is our hip flexibility test. If you sit a lot of times with your knees crossed, you can tighten the inner thighs. So it's really important to make sure that they're nice and flexible. So take your feet and place them soles together on the floor. And grasping your ankles, you want to bring in your feet as close as possible and see how many inches away from your pelvis that your feet are. So depending on your level of flexibility, we're just going to do the stretch right here. So pulling forward, pulling your ankles close in towards your sit bones and sitting up high on your sit bones. Bring your ankles in with your arms so I'm actually working. Lean your chest forward and take your elbows and press them against your knees. And you want to try not to round your back and try to keep a flat spine and lift your chest up. So on your inhales, think of lengthening and straightening out your spine. And an exhale, think of pressing forward and digging in your elbows on your knees and opening up and stretching out those inner thighs. Stay here for just a few more breaths. I know it's not fun. And exhale and release. And you want to do this exercise about 3 to 5 times. So with your hip and your hip flexors, if they're super tight, it might prevent you from squatting down fully whenever you do your other exercises. So you want to make sure that your hips are nice and flexible. In order to test your hip flexibility, you can take a wall or a chair and take your right leg, lift it up to a 90-degree angle, and bring it out to the wall and then back down. And you want to repeat this for your left. So bring your left knee up into a 90-degree angle, bring it out to your side, and then bring it back in and down. And you can test your flexibility level in the description of this video. We'll tell you the level. So to get into your hip strengthening move, get back into that plank position that we love so much. Yes, Batman, we love plank, we love it. So take your right foot in between, try not to kick the Batman, and drop your left knee. Once again, if this hurts your left knee, if you have extra pressure, you can fold your mat or you can place a towel underneath your left knee. So make sure that your hips, push your hips a little forward. Take your palms right back there above your kidneys, right above your hips, and make sure you're pressing them forward. This is a hip stretch, so we don't want to be out like this. And if you're not entirely flexible, we'll work towards that. So inhale, and then lift your arms overhead. If you have a little bit more flexibility, you can introduce a small back bend, or if not, just have your hands completely facing each other and reaching towards the ceiling. You can inhale your gaze in between your palms or at the ceiling in front of you. And you want to make sure to go into your right knee and don't sink away from it. Both of your hips are pushing forward, but you should really feel this in your left hip. Take a few more deep breaths. And release your arms to the floor and bring that left knee up. So switching back into that plank position, just because I like to get a little bit of strength in with your flexibility. Bring your left foot forward in between your legs and make sure it's at a 90-degree angle, so if you don't get it all the way up there, walk it forward and drop your right knee. Now come up onto your knees. Like I said, if you have knee problems, you can add a little bit of padding under your right knee. Take your palms and push your hips forward gently, and take your arms and reach them up overhead. So you want to make sure that if you're doing a back bend, that you have a little bit of strength in your back. If not, completely up towards the ceiling is fine. So sink in to your left hip. You should really feel the stretch in your right hip. And once again, this is a static stretch. This is something you do after a nice little 5 to 10 minute warm up or after your workout. One more deep breath. And then exhale, palms to the ground. Kick your right leg up. And then bring your left foot back. And drop your knees down. Thank you, and if you enjoyed my video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and favorite me if you want to continue to improve your flexibility. And keep coming back 3 to 5 times a week. Preferably if you could do a little stretching every day, that will definitely help.